back. With us right now is our lovely Bishop David. So you've all been sending your questions in for us to grill the Bishop, and so Bishop David will be answering your questions for you. So Bishop David, the first question, which is from Killian, is: have you always been a good Catholic, even when you were younger? Did you always want to go to church?
Well, it depends really what you mean by a good Catholic. But I've always done my best, and I've always gone to church, and I was an altar server. So I kind of had to, because I had a job to do really when I got there. But there was one Sunday, one very memorable Sunday, when I told my mother that I wasn't going to go to church. And she gave me a look, I must admit, but she said, "Oh, that's okay, son, you don't have to go." So they all got ready, and there was I, really chuffed to myself that I didn't have to go to church. And they started to go, and then they all went, and the house seemed very silent, and I should have had a party or something, but I didn't. I just sat there for a few minutes thinking about it, and then, do you know what, I ran down the road and caught them up. So I did go to church, even though I started off that day thinking I wasn't going to go. And that was about as rebellious as it's got. But now I have to go to church because I'm a bishop.
And Daria wanted to know what your confirmation name is.
Oh yes, well that's an easy one, I remember very well. My confirmation name is Stephen, because he was the patron saint of altar servers, and I was an altar server at the time. So I guess that's why I chose Stephen.
How long for were you an altar server then? Were you an altar server throughout your teenage years?
Yes, I started when I made my first communion, so that was just over 7 years of age, and right the way through till I went to the seminary at the age of 18.
Oh, that's lovely. And what do you do in your spare time?
What do I do in my spare time? Well, that's a nice concept, spare time, these days, but my kind of interest in life, I like to go for a walk, although I've done my ankling at the moment, so I can't walk very far. And I like to read all sorts of things, novels. I'm reading a lovely Irish novel at the moment. It's so beautifully written that it kind of brings tears to my eyes in places. And I like reading theology, believe it or not. Not just because I have to, I actually enjoy reading that stuff. And I like listening to music. And I'm totally eclectic in my musical tastes, so I've got everything there from ABBA to U2 in one section, and then in a separate section I've got opera and everything from Brahms basically to whoever, you know. So I like all kinds of music, and I like watching a certain football team in the Midlands called Aston Villa. We're doing really well at the moment, but being as you guys haven't got any Premiership football to offer me here in the Diocese of Northampton, I'm sticking with the Villa.
I'm just going to pick on a few of the things that you've mentioned.
Yeah,
so, what's your favourite book? What's your favourite music?
My favourite music? Well, if you ask Father James, who's my secretary, and it's usually Saturday night when I'm listening to music, so I could start listening to some Thomas Tallis, something called Speminalium, and then the next thing could well be U2, City of Blinding Lights, because that reminds me of Birmingham, where I'm from. So anything like that, really. Yeah. There's no particular favourite as such.
Oh, books.
And my favourite book? Yeah. Oh, that's a tricky one. I could probably tell you about my favourite authors more than my favourite book. So my favourite theological author is a man called von Balthasar, which you won't have heard of, guys, but don't worry. And I'm reading Elena Ferranti at the moment, who's an Italian writer.
Yeah. What's the name of the book? I might just buy it on Amazon.
Elena Ferranti. No, don't buy it. I'm not going to say it. It's a good book anyway.
Okay. What does a normal day in the life of a bishop look like then?
A normal day?
Yes, if you do have normal days.
Yeah, I'm not sure it's normal at the moment, but there are certain key features. So the alarm goes off at 5:45, but generally by then I've already got up, made myself a cup of tea, said the rosary and the Angelus, and then I get up. I know, but that's my start. And then I spend an hour in the chapel, and then Father James and myself get together for morning prayer and celebrate Mass, and then breakfast. Those are the fixed things I'd say every day. In case you're wondering, bacon butties on a Saturday morning. And then it can be a variety of things. I might have meetings, and I might have events to go to, and then in the evening I can have confirmations. So quite often I don't get back until about 10:30, 11 o'clock at night.
Oh.
So it's a long day.
Yes. And what do you like most about being a bishop, out of all the things that you do?
Oh, well, I'd probably have to compare being a bishop with what I did before I became a bishop, which I'm not going to talk about. But I do like meeting people, and I like working with the priests, and one of the main responsibilities of the bishop is to stand alongside the priests and to encourage them. And I like to... I'd compare it with watching football, really. You can either stand on the sidelines and cheer people on, or you can get stuck into the game yourself, and I prefer to get stuck into the game myself, alongside the guys who are doing a great job, all our priests and deacons. And I like meeting all kinds of people, every age group. I'm getting to enjoy confirmations, now I know what I'm doing, so by the time you guys get confirmed, hopefully I'll have got it off perfectly. And I just like every aspect really of pastoral ministry.
Yeah. How are you finding this time in semi-lockdown then? Because obviously you probably are not getting to meet as many people in person, and it's all probably more like digital or virtual. How are you finding it all?
Yeah, well, I got ordained bishop and installed as Bishop of Northampton on the 19th of March, and then we went into lockdown, and everybody talks about lockdown, but I've been incredibly busy. There's lots of correspondence across a bishop's desk, and even then there were lots of meetings on the dreaded Zoom. So we had all these Zoom meetings to go to. You can't fall asleep on Zoom though. No. People awake and wide-eyed and bushy-eyed. Actually, I'll just say, it's very entertaining. Just yesterday morning I was at a Zoom meeting with some people, and I've become a trustee of an organisation, and there was a woman called Margarita, who won't be listening to this so I can tell this story. Margarita was a strong lady really, who knew what she was talking about, I have to say. And in the middle of the Zoom meeting, there were half a dozen of us on the screen, there was a sort of ding dong, and I thought that must be someone's phone, and it was her doorbell. She said, "Excuse me everyone, I've got to go off. I've had a Tesco delivery." So off she went to get her Tesco delivery. Just an empty screen there with her chair. And then a few minutes later, this ginger cat just walked across the camera. I started to laugh, and the guy who was running the meeting said, "Well, what are you laughing at, Bishop?" I said, "Oh look, Margarita's turned into a cat." I disappeared into Harry Potter or something. But I find you can enjoy your work and have a bit of fun as well. So there's lots of meetings, even now, and I am getting out to do confirmations. I can't get into the schools yet, but that's right and proper because of the COVID rules, and celebrating various masses everywhere.
Yeah. Oh, thank you so much, Bishop David, for these lovely insights into your life and what it actually means to be a bishop. Father Brendan has a few questions for you as well, I've been told. So I will now hand over to Father Brendan.
Thank you, Jennifer, for asking the easy ones. I just hope Father Brendan's going to be so kind.
That's gentle.